Alright, Daryl, let's take a look at this again. Right now we are discussing classical thumb position, the one that allows for 4 fingers, 4 frets. What I've seen from you a fair amount, and I'll be sure to show you the back of the fretboard too, is starting like this, which is a very prohibitive position that has our palm against the fretboard. And we play a lot of things there. But then that might if we look at the extension of that, that might as well just be your thumb over top position. So we're instead doing something drastically different, and we've got this line right here, dead center. I would say that I'm dead center in my thumb on the ley line here. So at any rate, if I were playing the G major scale here, we've got our So I just did a bunch of stuff with pull-offs in it and hammer runs. So visually, really key on your own left thumb. And even if you play really slowly, just don't move your left thumb. You can move incredibly slowly. So, and also we're moving our fingers as though we might always do a hammer on. We're not seesawing. I'm pushing down 2 fingers. I'm pushing down 1, 2, 3 fingers. Now, when you get to about the 4th or 3rd string, that's where you might feel temptation to angle drastically differently. But we're not going to, especially on the 3rd string. Then we get a little bit of angle, but not a lot of angle change. Still pushing down my 1st finger. When we get to the 1st string, maybe I'm kind of like this, but my thumb hasn't advanced up the fretboard. Here's the range of motion I'm using to change. Pretty much like I'm on the low strings, I get to the 1st string, it changes a little teeny bit, I come back up. So moving to strings 3 and 2, tricky in that capacity. Okay, so please pause the video and just work on the fundamentals of going through that scale. Now, the most important thing is going to be reestablishing a starting position. And though this takes a tremendous amount of focus initially, something that takes five entire seconds, as soon as it becomes hardwired into your process, not for playing everything, because like we talked about the things you play already, it's not like they didn't count or something. But for what you're working on right now, the more versatile technique, taking however long it takes, and then being cool with playing out of rhythm also, you know? We're deliberately picking a scale. It's cool to go, I'm playing in rhythm, but that's not really even one of our goals right now whatsoever. Our goal is to go through it slowly enough that you can think about the technique concepts and you're going to be in your conscious focus headspace, not your playing headspace. It seemed like a little something went off when I was like, this is just like any other new riff that you teach yourself that's more in your wheelhouse, where you go, okay, I'm going over what I'm going to do in this riff, and then start playing it. This is no different, it's just way more awkward. Cool, so here's me. Now I'm not rolling any of my fingers off. I'm not doing this. And if you find that it feels like you need to, chances are you've switched something about your position. So it's implied that before everything I do, I've just said, check your position. But visually, if you can just key on your thumb, you should be fine. Because anything that changes there is the most obvious undoing of the entire process. So first we're just going up and down the scale. We don't care about rhythm. It might as well not exist. Just focusing on not rolling your fingers off. Not this. Which if I were like this, that would be the only thing. If you like, you can go to the next note as well. And again, here's where I ended up at the end. The change from this just to kind of like that. Not a huge change. Okay, so, stop, work on that as long as you need. And starting to play at all without hitting reset, not going to work out. So try to just, the last thing I said before you left is I was like, give up and you'll have it. That's to say, give up on a way where you just grab it and it feels natural. like other things you play, but that this will take conscious focus. All right, so now I'm going to do the hammer on every chance I get. So with the exception of when I go from one string to another, I'm only just pick, pick, pick. Or no, section 1, section 2. Now, that was going just one pick, or I could go, let's decide we'll just do this. So far I just went G, A with a hammer on, then I went B, C, C, D, and my first finger is still pushing down, as though I might go, so hammer on, hammer on, hammer on, hammer on, hammer on, and maybe just work that part. Great. Now, be sure you're still like this, and try the converse, pull-offs. And this will be where it's really important that your other fingers are actually there already, not in this position. Now I'm playing this in rhythm because at some point I actually learned to do it. And the same concepts will extend to the higher strings. So when we're going from string to string, we're just not worried about how we're doing that. There we go. And also, that was just one pick for the A string. Pick, 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 or pick, pick, pick. And as long as each thing is a distinctive movement, it'll keep ringing out. You don't need to pluck the string with your finger like some people try to. It's just distinctive movements each time. Cool. So there we go with our major scale. And then just do various pull-offs once you've already, go ahead and mess around with it, but not at the expense of actually doing the boring part of the exercise. The other thing we did was the riff to Hey Joe, which starts out with something that we could theoretically do in either position. Great, so in this we're gonna, we're like this, and you're at about 740 in your video. So I've got my ring finger on C like I'm playing a C chord. And we start at first position. I'm at the first fret, my first finger. There I am. C, E, F, F sharp, G. Or just ring finger, open, 1, 2, 3. And we haven't gone pinky yet. So now, after having gone where you definitely don't want to be going, you could go as a hammer on 2, or if you wanted to, but nonetheless. Now your entire hand is going to move the half inch or whatever to be at the second fret where we go all 4 fingers. And I'm not going, I'm literally going 1 finger, 2 fingers, 3 fingers, 4 fingers. And right there you might be tempted to rush through it because they're the same thing twice. If you just did this, doing this will be easy. Trying to make the section, both of them, is going to be more difficult. So I would say try to just get section 1. Getting good up to there would be a good start, as is almost identical to it. So we're going, I'm at the first fret, now I'm at the second fret, then I do the same thing again. Now we're going to be moving to the 4th fret. Same thing, thumb moves, it's all something I'm moving at my shoulder, elbow, my wrist is in this position. And I'm going the same thing that we just did, all 4 of my fingers, and here's where if we were like this, it would really start to get to be hard times, playing farther up the neck, where the frets are in fact closer together. So that was, and again, don't play this in rhythm until you've already mapped out how to do it, and do it in little sections. There's no reason you can't start at, and you certainly want to, at this point, pause and take however long it takes to get to hear correctly. And that's the part to let go of, is wanting to do it more quickly. That'll come when you've already memorized it. So yeah. And none of those notes feel like they're in reach position. My pinky doesn't feel like I can barely get it. Pinky will always feel a little more awkward. But yeah, there we go. Dead center, whole thing. Cool. And I can't say this enough times. Just play out of rhythm. Just make it a series of notes you're working on, like the other exercise. And then when you feel like you're actually likely to get it right, try to play. Okay, brother, I will see you next week-ish when I hear from you. Pause and get ready to play. Don't just dive into it. And allow for, times where you do just play things that are easy for you instead. And then switch gears. Otherwise, this will feel like the entirety of my guitar playing now sucks and is unpleasant. So it's just two different things you're doing on the instrument. Peace.